You're listening to Tabletop and Beyond, the Guild 9 gaming podcast covering board games to war games and beyond.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to your favorite podcasters and Tabletop and Beyond. We're glad that you're joining us for this week's episode. Today it's just me, Justin, and my buddy Jason.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, so it's just the two of us. We still got some stuff we want to talk about, and we're excited to talk about gaming.
Definitely.
So, let's kick it off. Jason, how was your Geek Week?
Geek Week was great. I finally did something on my bucket list, which was to create that mold, to create my own first mold that I was talking about, I think, previously. I took a bunch of bases. Yeah. I took a bunch of bases that I made. That I think were highly detailed bases, and these bases take me a while to do because not only do you have to put all of the the detail into them with the material to get kind of the textures and everything.
Right.
You got to do all that before you even prime them, and paint them and add.
Oh, I'm living in that hell right now. Actually,
oh, yeah.
I've got 50 Ardboys, Orc Ardboys in front of me. And unfortunately, the army that I bought, they were all based already.
Yep.
So I've been having to base them around like the glued-on feet, and dude, it's just taking me forever.
Yeah, I will say this tip of the day, right? Use the model glue all you want when you're assembling your models, but when I attach models to bases, it's super glue now because you can just pop them off.
If you need to. Right, yeah. Exactly. Totally. Yeah, these were all modeled glue on, and I'm like, dude, I can't get them off.
Yep. Nope. That sucks. Anyway, so I made these. So I took 3 of these bases, and this is from a friend, Caleb Walters, who's big into kind of the Warhammer scene, the Age of Sigmar scene here. But he gave me this recommendation. I took 3 of the bases that were kind of unique, that had little bits of stone and stuff in them, and I used the smooth-on casting material to create. I basically put these 3 bases. I super glued them down into the bottom of one of my dog bowls.
Nice.
And poured this liquid rubber over them, let it set overnight, popped it out of the dog bowl, and man, I tell you, the captured detail is just astounding, man.
Awesome.
I used Hertzart molds a lot to do like plaster molds, to do like terrain and stuff, and that stuff is really, really cool. But I pour some resin into these things. You mix up this resin, pour it into the mold. It takes 10 minutes. At the end of 10 minutes, you come back, pop them out of the mold, and I've got a complete duplicate, like a total replica.
Oh my gosh. So, dude, if you're doing like 100 bases, you did 3 of them. I mean, you're talking, 33 times 10 minutes or whatever, for 100 bases. And, that's, 330 minutes. So, I'm doing the math here. 6 hours Maybe 6 hours to basically do like all your bases.
Yeah.
But that dwarfs in time comparison to what I've been doing in like putting down the bottom layer and the little rocks and the little skulls and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And material or money.
Exactly. And the material. The resin is, it's like each one of these things is like 10 cents a base now.
That's ridiculous.
And so what I did was I did 3 and I made 9. So I did three casts, and I put them on a thing, and I primed them with my airbrush black, solid black.
Okay.
And then I went to my wife and was like, 3 of these are not like the others,
Yeah.
To see if she could find it, and like you just can't tell. The detail is just, it captures it perfectly. And then once I actually painted them and flocked them. That's the thing. It doesn't avoid that, right? You still have to paint them individually and flock them. But, dude, I look at them right now, and I don't even know which ones are resin bases and which ones are normal. I'm so happy I did this. I'm so excited. Now I'm like looking around. I was like, what else can I make a mold of?
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Highly recommend it. So easy to do with the smooth-on product. I think the starter kit, which contained the liquid rubber and the resin, was like $50 total on Amazon.
Have you thought about maybe like making and selling bases?
I thought about that. I was trying to think, how much here's what I think. I look at it and I think, gosh, I could knock these things out so fast. I don't even need to really flock them. You could just prime them.
Yeah.
and say, here you go, they're primed, they're ready for you to paint them whatever color you want, but here's some really good detailed resin bases.
Right, right.
And I'm trying to think, how much would I pay for like those bases. If I was like, yeah, I want to get some nice bases, I don't want to do it myself. Like, what would you pay for it? A couple bucks a base, maybe max. See,
couple bucks a base might be a little high.
see, it's that's why I was like, should I? How could you really? I don't know.
I mean, how much does it cost you to make them?
That's the thing. I need to sit down and actually figure out. But it's not just the material; it's also the time, right? Like it only takes 10 minutes. If I had like 30 molds, if I could do like 60 and I just mix up a batch of resin and just pour it all over them,
yeah,
maybe. But I mean, it's actual like time right now. I don't know.
I bet you'd have somebody. I bet you could. I bet you could get somebody to pay $1 a base.
I think so. I mean, if you go to eBay and you look for bases now, you'll see it about that. You'll see a pack of like 10 for $12 or something.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if it's worth my time. I think someone who maybe didn't have kids and dogs and
a life. Ooh,
yeah.
Dang.
Anyways, that was
right
my
on.
week.
So my geek week was very similar. I did a lot of time basing my models just to do it. With kind of the way that everything's sort of been shutting down, like all my kids' activities have been canceled. Church was canceled for us.
Yep.
All this other stuff was canceled. I've had more time just to sit down and kind of go through it and start doing it. So I've been working my way through the History of the Byzantium Empire podcast. And just basing and just really enjoying my kind of solitude doing this stuff. So, yeah, it's been kind of nice actually being able to devote some of the time to it.
Yeah, very cool.
The other thing that I'm going to bring up is that I've been watching AMC's Dispatches from Elsewhere. I don't know if you've even heard of it or seen it. So it's on AMC. It's a new show. I think they said it's a limited run show. It might only be like a season or 2 or something like that. And it is super weird, and I love it. So it was created by Jason Segel. He was on How I Met Your Mother, and he did the Muppets movie and all that, right? And he stars in it too. And it's like these 4 people sort of get chosen for this game. And it's like a scavenger hunt that they have to go on, but it's like really weird. Like there's some kind of like good and bad things that are happening, and it's kind of making people like take a real hard look at themselves. It's very strange, very artistic, and it's got an element of like sci-fi kind of like this is there's other things going on in this world than just our day-to-day lives type of thing,
Yeah.
And I've been digging it. I've been really digging it. So
Cool.
I recommend it. It's pretty good. Been making my wife watch it with me.
What was it called again?
Dispatches from Elsewhere.
Dispatches from Elsewhere. AMC, you said?
Yeah. So,
Cool. Very cool.
It's definitely worth checking out, in my opinion.
Cool.
So, yeah. Right on. All right. So, hey, what do we got in the news?
In the news, well, there is the Origin nominees have been posted for 2020.
So, first off, what is Origins for those of our listeners who don't know?
A board game convention that happens every year is it Columbus?
It is Columbus.
Yeah, I don't make sure to get that wrong. Yep, Columbus, Ohio. That's in June this year, right?
It's in June every year. It's like mid-June. Yeah, second weekend in June usually.
We've talked about going one of these times, but it's usually so close to Gen Con and like the brownie points really
It's that and like it's literally like at the end of our kids' school year.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just a crazy time because it's usually like our kids got camp starting up and all sorts of different stuff.
17th to 21st of June. Yeah, that's like school gets out like the week before, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I have a feeling that as our kids get a little bit older, it might be a little bit more doable, but it's, like you said, it's also very close to Gen Con.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I have a brother that lives in Columbus, though.
You do. We should do.
And he wants to do it. He wants to join us.
Let's do it.
We should. We totally should.
Okay, what else?
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, the nominees came out.
We didn't even talk about the awards.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So I feel bad because I look at this and I'm like, okay, I consider myself a gamer, but like I have not played like any of these that have been nominated. I'm like, man, I need to get out more or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean one or two of these I've actually played. One thing I thought was really cool is they have a digital adaptation category, and Raiders of the North
Yeah.
is on there. So Raiders of the North, a really fun board game.
It's a
It's a worker
worker
placement.
placement. Yeah.
Yep.
Jinx. Yeah. No, it's a great game. And to have it digitally adapted, I think would be a lot of fun.
Totally.
It'd be a lot of fun to play. I like so the nominees. Let's see, they've got board game category, card game, collectible game, digital adaptation, family games, gaming accessory,
Hmm.
historical game category, historical minis category, miniatures game, role playing game. Yeah, that's the categories. I noticed that Warcry from Games Workshop is in there. You and I both have played Warcry
Oh
and
yeah,
love
we
it.
love that game.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great minis game, and a great, like we said last week, it's kind of a starter drug for Age of Sigmar, you know.
Yes. Yes. So
So
if you're looking to find a new game, scroll down that list. Maybe just pick something. Give it
yeah,
a try.
I was interested in the board game Red Alert, the Space Fleet Warfare. That looked pretty cool to me. It's basically like 6 players, and you guys are playing each other. It's almost like, do you remember like the computer game Red Alert?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the board game version of that. So, but with space fleets. That
With
sounds
Space Force,
awesome.
it's like an RTS board game.
Yeah,
Huh.
sounds interesting.
Yeah, give that a shot. The role playing game category, Alien, the role playing game, which came out. I thought that actually came out. Was it last year?
Yeah,
Last year in November, I think.
right.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, the art for that looks astounding. If you're a fan of that universe,
Yeah,
yeah.
I,
But
I
I
was
haven't actually played
interested.
it. I want to play it. But
Me too, and I was interested to see Pathfinder second edition in there, and just because I thought that that had come out more than just a year ago, but maybe it didn't. Maybe it did come out within the last year. Now that I think
maybe
about it,
Pathfinder Second Edition.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
Google could tell our listeners.
yep, exactly. Yeah, so there's that. Let's see what else. Oh, the Cards Against Humanity co-founder, he created a restaurant, started up a restaurant in Chicago that they say, quote, serves up board games. The interesting thing about this is it's a restaurant. You go there to eat, but it's designed to play games at this restaurant. Jason, you and I are not unfamiliar with this concept,
Mm-mm.
though.
Nope. Then we have a
So
local one that we have gone. I've gone. We went there. We had a buddy came in that had
yeah.
been out of town for a while, and we just had, hey, let's all get together there rather than get together at somebody's house, and it was an awesome experience.
Oh, it totally was. And the game, the tables there are totally designed for big board games. We're playing like Star Wars, right? Edge of the Empire or Edge of the Galaxy, Galaxy's
No.
Edge. No, that's
Yes.
the actual Star Wars, right?
No, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a great game. Anyways, Star Wars good board game. It was fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. Um, yeah, so that was a great time because we had that board game and it was like spread out across a couple tables, and they've got those like drink holders that like actually sit on the edge of the table, right?
Yes,
And
that
you can
was
put your drinks in, and it's
that was
so
pretty
so
cool.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's our local place, Crossroads Tavern.
Outer
We
Rim.
love it.
Outer Rim.
Yeah, Star Wars Outer Rim.
Yep. Great
Yeah,
game.
exactly. That's a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was good bar food.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean,
And then it's like when you're playing, it's like, dude, I don't need anything fancy. It's like, just give me a burger and some fries. You know?
oh dude,
It
but
was
they don't
perfect.
have just fries. They got some tots there.
That's right. You can
I
get
love
tots.
those tater tots. Oh, their tater tots are good. I'm a big fan of tater tots. I love them to death. So yeah. Oh, here's one not so great piece of news. If Dan were here, he'd probably curse the gods that we mentioned their name. But Asmodee, everyone's favorite gaming company that they love to hate, announced this week that they were raising the MSRP on most of their most popular titles. So you're going to see price increases of 10 to 20% on games like Catan and Ticket to Ride and things like that, and that should go into place May 1st. So if you're thinking of picking up an Asmodee game, that's one of their more popular ones, you should probably do that before May 1st.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe that's what they're banking on. Maybe they need to increase revenue sales. So we're going to raise these prices, so get them now.
Yeah, they're citing obviously like inflation and all that stuff, and they've held their prices flat for a few years, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting move, especially in light of the fact that they've been having a fire sale on some of their other product lines. So
yeah,
kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all that we kind of dug up in the news this week. It's obviously been news in general has been dominated by our, favorite coronavirus out there. And so we wanted to actually talk a little bit about what happens when you can't go out anymore. So, I mean, the title of this podcast is Gamers in a Dangerous Time, which is where we're at right now. Yeah. And, it seems like the coronavirus seems to be, like, everywhere, but, like, nowhere at the same time. It's kind of a weird, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a weird feeling, like, to go out and be like, we're supposed to be indoors. We're not supposed to be living our normal lives because it's out there, but yet you see everybody still kind of doing their own thing a little bit. It's kind of strange. So we kind of have to have a shift in mentality a little bit because, like I said, activities are getting canceled. Things are started shutting down. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. The movie theaters are open for now, but is anybody going? I doubt it.
No, they were, dude. My wife and I were out the other night, Saturday night, driving around, and we looked over at the movie theater, which is normally the parking lot is like, way overflowed. It's probably like, dude, it's probably like a 20-yard, 10 to 15-yard parking lot. I'm just thinking how many football fields. But anyways, dude, it was like empty. Yeah. There were like, the first two rows, and that's it.
Wow. Now, ironically, it's probably one of the safest places to go now because there's nobody in the movie theater. You can have the whole thing to yourself.
Yeah, I think they even said that they're selling 50% less tickets to ensure that there are spaces between.
Interesting. I kind of like it. Maybe my wife will go on date night this Friday.
Right. Honey, no, listen, this is the safest place, believe me.
This is, really.
Trust me.
We're hiding in plain sight.
Right. Yeah, they'll never know to come in here.
Oh, yeah. So I know a lot of people are sort of having to stay in. Fortunately, a lot of people are still able to go to work and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But, yep. What happens when you've got too much binging done on Netflix and you're getting a little antsy, you want to roll some dice? What do you do? What do you do when some of your favorite places are closing down? Because we actually have a gaming store that we go to that is now only open for purchases only. Like, you can't go in and game. You can go in and buy some board games, which I think is still cool. Like, if you need paint, board games, models or whatever, like, they're still open to be able to get you that stuff. But we can't go in a game there anymore.
Yeah, just don't touch anything.
Yeah, just don't sneeze on anything.
Yeah. So I'm actually because I'm running low on some of my paints, and I was like, the store's gonna be like, no, still for purchases, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Our kids are out of school for a month now, and they're anticipating potentially that could extend. So this virus it's put us in a time that's a little bit different for anything we've had to kind of react to, and at least here in America. So it's, people are, like you said, some people, my job, I'm still going to work, but we're all anticipating getting a memo in the next day or two that tells us to still work, but telework. So it's just going to be me trapped in my house with all of my kids for the next month, probably.
And that's when your productivity drops significantly.
I love my kids. I love them.
So what do we do? What are our options to game in this dangerous time?
Video games.
All right. Step number 1, right?
Boot that Xbox back up. It's been a while. Put my paints down. Yeah. Well, I guess that's the other thing. I'm painting.
Right, dude. I'm doing a ton of hobbying. Yeah, which is nice. I mean, it's good that I'm actually focusing on it. But yeah.
Yeah. My little work area is actually like a table in the laundry room in the basement. But we have a kid TV. We have like a TV area down there where the PlayStation is hooked up.
Uh-huh.
And we bought. My kids still love Minecraft, and they play it together. Even my older kids, they play Minecraft together. It's like a pastime. So they'll be in there playing Minecraft, and I'm in the laundry room, door crack, just listening to make sure they don't kill each other while I'm sitting there painting my minis.
Dude, on Saturday and Sundays, we were spending a lot of time playing some Minecraft.
Yep,
as a
it's
family.
a pastime.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I totally dig it. If the kids want to get super creative, building a world in there and building houses,
right. We start making something.
Oh yeah, like I think it's great. So, but yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of great games out there right now. If you don't have the Xbox Games Pass, I can't recommend it enough.
Oh,
There's
man,
so
seriously.
many amazing games on there. And
I even booted up an older one last night by accident. I meant to click No Man's Sky, and I accidentally clicked the Turing test.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, well, okay, we'll just finish letting this boot.
How was it? Did
and
you
then
play
I was like,
it?
all right, we'll just go ahead and start this. Yeah, I played it for like 2 hours. It's basically it's a puzzle game like Portal.
Okay.
Yeah, almost the exact same feel. Like you go into a room and you move like little energy balls around to be able to try to unlock the door to the next room. And there's a story. You. There's a story going on. So it was perfect, just brain dump, right? I'm just like, well, kind of. Gave me some puzzles. I like puzzles. But then the problem is that 2 hours later, I was like, okay, I gotta go to bed. That was fun. Oh man, I want to play No Man's Sky. Yeah.
I actually the games with gold free game this month was the Telltale Games Batman.
Oh yeah, I got that downloaded.
Dude. It's been a blast. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Tons
I'm
of
still
fun.
working through the Wolf one.
Oh, the Wolf Among Us, so good.
Yeah,
that one's really good.
Really so, what would you think? Is the Batman on par with that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is the second Batman. Like, there's the first Batman that's out there.
Right.
That
I played the
just
first one.
Yeah, the first one was really good, and this one will kind of like play off of those same choices that you made. The problem was I played that other Batman like 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
No, I didn't remember what choices I had made, and so it was like, don't you remember you did this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I did.
Right.
But yeah, man, there's so many games out there that you could go multiplayer with, you could go solo with. I mean, look, if you've never played The Witcher 3, it's on there, and that'll last you.
I just downloaded that too. Yeah.
That game itself will last you the entire coronavirus. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
So many good games that you could get with the Games Pass. So I totally recommend it. It's I don't know if they're still doing some promotions out there, but we got some good deals on it, and it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely, man. And there are so many games on there that I have played. Like, I've seen, when the game first came out, like The Observer was one. The Observer, when it first came out, I was like really intrigued by it, but I was like, I really don't want to pay $30 because I think it was an indie game, so it was only like $29. I was like, I really don't want to pay $30 for that game. So then when it hit the Game Pass, I was like, all right. So I downloaded it and I beat it in I'm glad I didn't pay $30 for it because I beat it in 3 hours or something, some dumb like that, 3 or 4 hours. But dude, it was a really fun 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that was awesome. And then when it was done, I deleted it and made space on my hard drive. I was like, well, that was cool.
There's a ton of games that I can't what is it? Down? Do you remember that game? It's sort of like a Legend of Zelda style, 2D thing, and if you die, you have to go back to where your last save point was.
Oh, and
you have
fun.
to go back.
Yeah.
You're like a Viking almost, or going inside a mountain.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And solving puzzles and all that. Anyway, a bunch of these games that I'm like, I don't know if I would have paid retail for them, but now that they're on the Games Pass, they're great.
Yes. Another game. No, there's just lots of games. Just explore it. Check it out.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, lots of good stuff.
Doom is on there. If you haven't played that,
gosh.
Shame on you.
And if you've only played it once, play it again.
Yes. It's amazing. 20th of this month. 4 days.
Doom Eternal.
Yes.
Is that coming out on the Games Pass right away?
I
kind of don't think it is. And
I don't think so. There's no incentive for them to put that in the Games Pass.
I know, but seriously, if it were there, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh baby, because that
They've done it
game
right. They
looks.
put the first Doom in the Game's Pass, or the
Yeah,
first of the newer Dooms in the Game Pass, and then everyone
yeah.
will pay their $60.
Oh man, that game is so good,
It is.
so
Oh,
good.
it's one of the best games ever, man, of this generation.
Oh, absolutely. And the
Yeah.
thing is it's not complicated.
No.
It's
I,
just so much
and
fun.
here's the thing: I put that game down. I played it, and then I put it down for like 3 or 4 months, just because of life.
Yeah,
And then I picked it back up, dude. I was back in the swing in like one night.
yeah,
It's an awesome game. Good example of how arcade does not just mean dumb simple.
right.
It can be good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so yeah, I mean, look, console and PC gaming, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? But what if we've got that tabletop fix that we got to get in? What are we gonna do?
Well, there's
It's
Roll 20.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to try
Okay.
Roll 20 again. I am not. I did Roll 20 when it first came out, and it was glitchy.
All right. Well, so back up a little bit. What is Roll20?
Roll 20 is a glitch. No, Roll 20.
Glitchy app.
So if you want to do, like, we'll just think about it, 20-sided dice, rolling is
Yep.
20-sided dice. So it was a website where you could get together. It would present kind of a virtual space, like a virtual whiteboard almost. And you could, whoever the DM was, they started putting in all these modules where you could load tiles, you could load little icons that could represent your guys. You could drag around. They started to embed character sheets
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so that you could embed your character sheet. And you could, when you needed to roll, you could roll the dice, and it would roll for your character sheet. Really cool concept. One of the first ones that really kind of kicked off.
So it's funny you said kicked off because this was a Kickstarter project actually, in 2012, and the guys that set it up, they're like, "Hey, we want to be able to combine." They were doing stuff over FaceTime or Google Hangouts or even Discord. I don't know how popular Discord was at that time in 2012.
Was Discord out in 2012?
I don't even know.
I don't think so.
I wasn't using it back then. But the point is they wanted kind of everything all together, right? So that they didn't have to do a
2015.
PowerPoint.
Discord was
okay.
2015.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, so
your
that
facts
definitely
straight.
wasn't there. No. Yeah, definitely wasn't there. So these guys put this together, and it came out of the gate, and it did sort of what it needed to do, which is at least get everybody on the same video chat.
Yeah.
And provide that whiteboard space that the DM could mark things or whatever.
Yeah.
As time has gone on, like you said, they added more support for character sheets that you could easily click buttons to if you needed to hit an enemy, you push one button and it does all the dice rolling and calculation for you.
Yeah.
On there, so it's got a built-in dice roller. So some of the bigger games like D&D, Pathfinder, they've got massive support on there, and I think that those games run really smoothly. Where we seem to have issues, we played Shadow of the Demon Lord on there one time, and Earth Dawn. And the guy...
And also...
what else did we play?
I'm drawing a blank. The one with the elves and the future and the cyberpunk, Shadowrun.
Oh, Shadowrun, right.
Yeah,
right.
That was, yeah.
So the problem is that the communities that were into these sort of lesser known games, they were sort of responsible for making their own macros and kind of interfaces for it. And so we met the dude who actually made the Earth Dawn one. He played some games with us and he was doing a good job making it. It's just that it was almost like the system didn't like him creating custom macros all the time that would make sure that the dice were rolling correctly,
Yeah.
And but it wasn't just that sort of irked me about it. It's we could never get the audio right for everybody.
Yeah.
We could never get the video right for everybody. We ended up doing Google Hangouts just on the side for the video and audio, and then Roll20 for the actual visual of the game.
Well, in the early days of Roll20, didn't they actually use Hangouts for their video?
I think they might have, and then they kind of integrated it all into
Yeah.
one. And anyway, like I think they've gotten a lot better. I've heard that they've gotten a lot of better. I haven't used it as much. I sort of switched to Discord
Yeah.
whenever I want to do online gaming because I feel like the audio and video has been much more reliable. And if I'm not playing D&D, I don't need to use like the special macros and maps and things like there. But listen, if you buy some of those packs that they have, like they've got kind of like quote unquote you can sign up for a free account and play for free essentially. But if you want to be a dungeon master and have access to like maps and packs and character sheets online and manage everything there, then you pay like a monthly subscription fee or something like that. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's terribly expensive.
Probably not. But it's
but-
just probably
yeah.
another $4 a month.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're into group gaming, like, and you know, like you've got your weekly or monthly RPG night, and you're worried about coronavirus, this is something I would totally check out. You know, and see if it's an option. You know,
Yeah.
and see if it's something that you want to get into. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to give it another try, honestly.
I do too.
I really do. Mhm.
It's been about 2 years since I've done it, so it might be way better now.
It's probably been long because I think you did it more recently than myself. But I think obviously it's working. It's still well known in the industry, so it's probably in a much better place. And it's run by it's made by gamers, so they're going to take input and they're going to try to make it better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
Definitely.
I will say one thing, and no, I will probably say many more things. But anyway, so I have an opinion about those kind of things. Is whenever I play role playing games online, I like Discord because I like not using the board. Honestly, when I play role playing games, I prefer theater to the mind. When I get to grid systems and people start laying the grid down and counting the movements, I have a couple issues with that. Number one, I think it slows down the game, and I think that's one of the beauties of of an RPG is is keeping the flow going. You're a GM, I have a GM. We both have experience when you play systems that slow way down because
Right.
the rule system is way too complex, and the fun just starts to dissipate.
It starts sucking it out. Yep.
Yeah, so I've always been a theater mind. I feel like it gives people more freedom in exploring. Like you may picture that demon boss a different way than me, and you may picture your surroundings a little bit different, and we can still both play inside that same universe that we've created in our own minds and still have a great experience. Whereas when you start to kind of lay out maps and grids, you're starting to remove the freedom that is the beauty of RPGs in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And we had, I think it was like one of our very first episodes. In fact, it might have been our first episode was technology and gaming, and sometimes that can get in the way of a good game. And I felt like when we were playing Earth Dawn, the technology was totally
Oh my
in the
gosh.
way
Yeah.
of the game. I wanted to quit that game so bad. And it really didn't have anything to do with the story or the plot line or anything that our buddy was GMing. It was just like the technology was just so difficult to overcome that it just wasn't fun.
Yeah.
So all this to say is this isn't the best plug for Roll20.
Right. So back up. So I think my point is you can still play with Theater Mind on Roll20. You
That's
can
true.
use the character sheets, you can use the dice and
Yep.
everything. You don't have to get caught up in the accuracy of the board and the pieces.
Yeah.
Virtually. You can still enjoy the other aspects of seeing your friends through their video feeds, clicking the dice and watching the dice roll and using your character sheets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, or you can get all into it. I mean, they've got like
Yeah, if that's your bag.
shaders. They've got shaders where it's like a lamp light will show you where like the light is actually shining and what you can see. So it creates a fog of war
Yeah.
in a sense, in a sense on the board that you wouldn't get even on a regular tabletop. So if you and your group are totally into that, like this is a great place for that. So
There's a lot of freedoms there.
yeah, definitely, definitely. We mentioned Discord is sort of like has been our go to, and I think that the strength of that has been that it's reliable. Right, it's easy
Yeah.
for you to get online. It's easy for you to coordinate. It's easy for you to like join a bunch of videos together and just talk and go over stuff. And we've had a couple of really great games on Discord.
Oh yeah.
A lot of we did Shadow the Demon Lord a couple of times when we were prepping for Gen Con
Yeah.
that year, and we had some really really fun games on
Yep.
there. And I think, like you said, first off, the Shadow of the Demon Lord, which I want to kind of review in one of our future episodes, it's a great game for Theater of the Mind.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's one of its best strengths is that you don't have to have miniatures and pieces out there to have a good time. Like Theater of the Mind is great for that game, and so to do it over Discord, I mean, I had a game. Were you in the game where we like pulled in like 3 dudes from the community to play with us?
Yeah. I was in that.
And it was just like random guys from Facebook that just joined in, and man, we had a great time. We had so much fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. And all of these online things, you can connect with people that you normally wouldn't have been able to. Because I think we were playing with someone that was in California and someone that was in Texas, and we're in Virginia. So that's a beautiful thing is being able to play with people who aren't co-located with you.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of fun. Um, and let's see. I mean, you could also use just Google Hangouts or something. There is a thing out there called Tabletop Simulator. It's sort of, I don't know if I would call it a nascent application. Like, it's not that new, right?
No, it's definitely not. I'm trying to remember the name of the. Oh, it started with a V. It was like Vagrants. I don't remember. There was a tabletop simulator years ago that came out that was just like literally like, a square, and everyone could connect and just kind of drag pieces around, and the communities went through this effort of like taking pictures of components of board games and cutting them out and putting them into this thing, so you could kind of just drag the pieces around and pretend like you're playing board games together. Tabletop
Yeah.
Simulator is kind of taken that to the next level of actually, supported game systems with their components to be able to play it on. And there's even a VR version.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because I mean, then you're actually sort of there. There's a bunch of games if you check it out. Like, there's a couple of Simon games, Zombie Sides on there. Blood Rage is one of the games. They've got Pillars of Eternity is another board game that you could play in there. What are some of the other ones that I saw that?
Chess.
Yeah, you can play chess and checkers
Right.
and backgammon. Fun. Um,
Vassal. That was the other board game
Okay.
simulator that
All
I
right.
used. The Vassal engine. Yeah.
yeah, there's some of the Epic games like Epic Defenders, Epic Galaxies, Epic Kingdoms, Darkest Nights in there. Yeah.
I bring up Vassal because Vassal is a free open source version of this kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. I got
So
you.
everything on Vassal is open source. So if you're interested in just exploring the concept, that could be a good starting point.
Yeah. Yeah. So check out Tabletop Simulator. I mean,
Yeah.
the nice thing is that there's people out there that are using it, and you can probably find a game. You can probably get into some board games out there that you may not have done, and maybe it's hard to find some people that around you that like to play these types of strategy board games, like Blood Rage, for example, or Unearth. I mean, there's they've got Boss Monster in there. Did you see that?
Ah, cool.
That's a great game, and that would be easy to play in this. So easy. So it'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. I'd check it out. Tabletop Simulator is pretty good. I heard a rumor at one point that Warhammer was supported on here. I don't see it, and I don't know how that would work. I mean, that would be just so out of control.
Yeah, so I think Warhammer 40K, there were some modules in Vassal for it, but the problem is you still can't. All it does is provide. All these things really do is provide you the component systems. You still gotta play the game according
Yeah.
to the rules, I think.
Right.
Yeah, but anyways, that would be, I don't know, man. How would you enforce? I guess if you clicked on a unit, maybe the game could enforce a rule that actually said only allowed you to actually move it the correct distance. There's just so many like combo things
I
in those
know.
games, though, right?
Exactly. I don't
Like
know how it would
how
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. I
Check it out.
mean, this is board games, card games,
Yeah.
and again, like if you want to do some tabletop stuff, it's definitely worth checking out. Um, oh, I was gonna say, listen, if you don't have a gaming community that you can really go find some. I mean, there's like Discord channels out there, tons of Discord channels for D&D and Pathfinder and also any kind of RPG you want to play. You can easily find people who will get online with you and play.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So don't let the coronavirus keep you down.
No. Jump
You
into
know,
our Discord, Guild 9
that's
Gaming
right.
Discord channel.
Yeah, we
We'll
we
see if we
welcome
can
you
get
with open arms.
yes. Yep, and we can hook up, play some games, that kind of stuff. Just have a
Yeah,
good time.
absolutely. Right on.
So there's some options. Video games are probably the thing a lot of people are going to fall back to because they were probably doing it anyways, right?
Right. Right.
But if you want to get that tabletop, like Justin was saying, explore a little bit, and you might just have a good time with it.
Absolutely. Well, that's about it for this week. So, anything else to add, Jason?
No, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep on gaming.
Wash your hands.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Take care.